What's going on, guys? This is Third Perspective, your podcast, your favorite podcast. Yes, it is. And I'm your host, Mac Reed. And I got a special guest with me today, my main man. You already know who it is, Mr. Bartu. Excuse me, let me correct it for you. For those of you that really don't know him, this is Dr. Bartu Wilson. What's going on, my guy?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here. Appreciate you guys letting me use your platform to get my message out.
Yeah, absolutely. And today what we're going to want to talk about is basically, your brand that you're releasing right now. But before we get into all of that, we would like to get to know you a little bit better for those of you who really don't know this gentleman here. So could you please allow us to know a little bit about your background, your upbringing, basically where you came from and really, what motivated you to be who you are today?
Yeah, no problem. So, my name is Bartu Wilson. I'm a pharmacist. I'm from the small town of Georgetown, South Carolina. There really wasn't much there for the youth growing up, and we just had to find a way to make it out. And my way was education. You know what I'm saying? And I aspired to be a pharmacist as a kid. I remember in elementary school, you have to do that little questionnaire about what's your favorite color, what's your favorite food, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I wrote down pharmacist, like what I want to be when I grew up. And I remember the teacher coming to ask me, she was like, "Oh, do you have someone in your family that's a pharmacist? Do you know anything about it?" And I'm like, at this point, no, but I want to know about medication and why people take it and what's in it. She's like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting," And those same things that I wrote down on that survey still is true to this day. My favorite color, favorite food. And I was able to have that vision, that dream that stuck with me and push towards that consistently to become the pharmacist that I wrote down. So that's a little bit about me right there.
Okay. So it sounds like, when it comes to you, dreams and education are very important. Was there anything that really jolted your energy towards being a pharmacist? Like, for example, sometimes, back in the day, I believe they had, the police officers, doctors, walk into the school for the children. I forgot what it's called. I think it was something like a thing where, you could just, or like back in the day when you can bring your parents to school and things of that nature, and maybe they had a certain job or certain career path, then, somebody was like, "Oh, I want to be this, I want to be that," or the typical doctor, lawyer type thing. It was just really what really truly inspired you.
True. So I actually don't really remember career fairs growing up. And that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't remember them. But what it was that really got me was just talking to my mother, my grandmother, and helping out the other elderly folks in my family and with the medications and things. And it's just like, what can I do to better benefit you with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know more about this. Like in the Black culture, like chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol. Like normally everyone is on medications for these things. And I'm just like, why? Like, what's going on? So I'm like, I have to understand what this medication is, what is it used for? And then I could start to educate the masses about how can we fix this? How can we get off these medications? What do we have to do? Do we have to start working out more? Do we have to eat healthier? How can we prevent these chronic diseases? You know what I'm saying? So that was my drive. Like, it wasn't a person or individual that came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm a pharmacist and this is what you should do, or this is the path you should go at." Nah, my inspiration was, how can I help my people? How can I go in there and talk to everyone and have sessions with people and educate them on the medicine and try to get them off the medicine? That's the real thing, is trying to get them off the medicine. You know what I'm saying? Like going to the churches where they have like brown bag meetings where they bring in their medications. And I sit down with them and I just be like, "Hey, I see you on the cholesterol, the hypertension medicine. I see you on this medicine, that medicine. Let's talk about why you got to this. How did you get to this point? all right, so let's find a way for us to try to start reversing this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, my inspiration wasn't an individual or any person. My inspiration was seeing my family members take medication and wanting to know why. And then understanding that why, I could kind of, help them get to a place where we can see if we can get them off the medications.
Right. So with all that being said, I feel like a lot of times, especially when it comes to the youth, we really just don't know, or they don't really just know. Hell, I was young at one point in time. You really don't know the path you need to go through to actually get there to where you are now. So in a sense, some people may think it's difficult. Some people may think it's easy. Could you give us a little detail on the path you took to become a pharmacist?
All right, great. So in high school, I didn't even, we had a career fair a career center in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that there was a pharmacy technician course in high school. I didn't even know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that career center that had all these things, the culinary, the welding, cosmetology, I didn't have no insight about becoming a pharmacy technician at that point. But obviously, I wouldn't have been able to because you had to be 18 to work into the pharmacy, and I graduated high school at 17. So I could have do it later on. But when I went to college, in college, you got to write down your career path that you want to go on to, and they assign you I won't say a guidance counselor, but like a advisor, a career advisor. So when I put down pharmacists, they gave me a career advisor who literally kind of like mapped out what course I should take in college. And I just kind of went down that course, and then I would be invited in every time a pharmacy school would come down and have a overview of their school and try to recruit new students to come in. And I just go there and sit there and listen to them, and also do my own research on those schools as well. And that's kind of how I kept the path of getting into pharmacy school going. So getting into pharmacy school wasn't an easy feat for me. But I actually had to apply 3 times. So I applied because they had like a 2-4 program. So you do 2 years undergrad, get your prerequisites done, and then you do the 4 years at pharmacy school. So I applied after my second year of undergrad. I went in for an interview, but I had a few more classes that I didn't have finished yet. So they're like, well, we know with that amount of courses that over the summer, we doubt that you'll be able to complete everything in the timely manner. So that had to be one of those times where it's like, okay, you have to pass on this this time, but reapply later once you get all this done. So that was a good learning curve right there. Like, okay, making sure all my T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and just going back into school. Like, all right, now I know I'm able to get that look from the colleges, from the universities to get into pharmacy school. So that gave me more drive to be like, yo, it's time to go harder, time to get better grades, trying to step up, because that was one of those things where I was able to, at the interview, see exactly what schools were looking for and how to present myself and the type of things that make you stand out. So that was like a blessing in disguise, like for going forward for the next time. I applied again after I graduated after I graduated undergrad. And this time they changed up the application process. So you had to go through a formal website, and plus you had to go to the school website. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, being that I had to do it. I was doing all this by myself. So it was like, okay. So that kind of threw it off a little bit, and then calling schools and trying to figure out what's going on with the applications and have to send in more supplemental information.
Right. Now, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to know, at that certain point in time, because I'm looking at it as a very important time in your life right now. Typically, people at that, saying at that age, I'm assuming you was like around 25 or so. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Sounds about right.
No, I was 21 when I graduated undergrad, so this is the second time. So I was 21.
21. So at that time, when you're basically getting these no's and these types of difficulties, and like it's almost as if like something's trying to prevent you. What made you persevere? What made you say, no, I'm unstoppable. I'm going to continue on until I get what I deserve?
Yeah. I had no plan B.
Oh,
That sound crazy. I had no plan B. It was either this or nothing. It was like, yo, because looking back, like, yeah, it was a difficult time. Like, yo, why I'm getting these no's? Like, I'm doing everything I possibly can. What's going on with me? Like, what's going on with the process? What am I doing wrong? Mm-hmm. And it just make me go back to square one and be like, all right, what are they looking for? What do they need? All right, what can I do to get those qualifications? Matter of fact, what can I do to overqualify myself to make sure I don't get that no again? So I didn't have a plan B, because if I had a plan B, I probably would have stopped after the first time and would have went, let's try something else, But I was just like, nah. Like my mama always used to tell me, if you get yourself in it, get yourself out of it. So it was one of those things like, yo, my mind is in this, and the only way to get out of it is to achieve it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I want to say this right here, like was watching James Brown last night, you know what I mean? Rest in peace, Chad Boseman, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I said Boseman.
I got you though. I got you.
But when I was watching it, right now in this point in time, it's kind of like I was, just looking at the man himself, James Brown. And, James Brown thing was, what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you can knock me down, but I'm gonna keep on fighting. You know what I mean? Sure. If you say that it's structured this way, I'm gonna flip it. That's one thing he was saying in the movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm gonna flip it. So he's gonna make it to his own. So basically what you're, watching that movie last night and hearing what you're saying, you know what I'm saying? Those two kind of connect. You know what I mean? It's like, because he had no plan B. He was just like, nah, this is what it's going to be. Like, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, when you don't have a plan B, it makes you go so much harder, because what that did was, after getting that second no, or matter of fact, not even getting any call backs for pharmacy school on the second time because I didn't have everything completed properly. Right. That was such another learning curve that I was like, okay, now I know the new process for filling out these applications. Now, with that and having to call all those schools and seeing what else are they looking for, they wanted someone more well-rounded, someone with a little more experience, someone with these things. I said, well, I got a whole year before I could apply again. So I had to take the time, and, after college, I went back and moved back in with my mother for a short period of time. But then I got an opportunity to work at a big retail pharmacy. And, you know what I mean? I'll just leave it like that. As a pharmacy technician. And I went there and like I soared through the roof. Like within the first 6 months, I became state national certified. Like I learned everything I could at that level about medications, about the lifestyle of a pharmacist, how they have a work-life balance, how great pharmacists come in there every day and give patients their best. Like I learned a lot. So when it came for this next time to apply and I got the interview, I was well presented. I was overqualified. I had experience. I had everything that they were looking for. And so at that moment, I just knew, like, this is it. This is it. Like I kind of was at the point where like, maybe this is the last time applying. Like I even told her, this is the last time applying. So we're going to go super hard right now. Like everything is on the table. And I also spread out the schools that I applied to. Instead of going to like specific schools, I'm like, you know what? Some of these schools, like the school I actually ended up going to was a brand new school. It was in their second year when I applied, or first year. So I was their second graduating class. I'm like, let me give a school like this an opportunity as well as this school give me an opportunity. And it worked out.
And in your graduation class, how many of you were African American?
Oh man, we joke about that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So in pharmacy school, my graduating class had 16 minorities. 16 minorities. 3 were black males. Shout out to all the Greeks in the world, because the 3 males, we were all Greek. I'm a Kappa. The other 2 guys were alphas.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had about 8 black women.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
And then the rest was other different ethnicities, but
okay.
So that's about 11 African Americans.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of a class of 80.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully, like, you know what I'm saying, especially, shooting this vid right here, this podcast, there's like some young kids that are watching this. And when I mean by young, I don't mean you got to be 14, 15, 16. I'm pretty sure they're watching something else. They're probably TikToking right now. But even for those who maybe are like 18, 19, 20, 21, I mean, even 25, it doesn't matter your age, education is not going to discriminate, you know what I mean, on age. So with that being said, for those of you, especially in the African-American community, I mean, if you feel like you have nothing to gain right now, or even nothing to lose, look into being a pharmacist, or looking into being something in the medical field for sure. With all that being said, I see you wearing your shirt. I got on your shirt. I appreciate you sending this out to me right here. No so let's talk a little bit more about, your business that you got running right now with these T-shirts, because I believe they're more than just T-shirts. You can start with the shirt that you're wearing now.
All right. So one more thing about this pharmacy school real quick. So as a collective, all the students, we came together and we're just like, yo, we won't let any one of us fail. So if you've fallen down, or you're doing, if you're not doing good in the subject, holler at one of us. We're gonna help you out. We'll tutor you to make sure that as a collective, we are a unit that continually is going to keep moving forward. I don't want to put that out there. So we definitely bonded and made a connection with each other and pushed each other to be the best that we could be. I'm
happy you said that, because that's really important to say right there and then there, especially when it comes to the African American group and society in a whole. Sometimes it can be very difficult for us to stick together, you know what I mean, and hold each other accountable without anyone getting their emotions involved. Yes. Because at the end of the day, someone's going to be telling you something because they care. Mm-hmm. If they don't tell you what you're doing wrong and also what you're doing right, they can care less where you end up. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a perfect example of unity and Black growth right there. Definitely. Go ahead with your saying.
All right. So I have a consulting business, BDW Consultants, which I use to go out, and I already had events where I talk to the kids, talk to the youth in Maryland. I talked to some youth in Greenville, South Carolina, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I even did career fairs for a few schools. I even sit down in my spare time, if people got any questions, sit down and go over their medications with them. So like my business is being a consultant. And with that, I wanted to give out a product that someone can wear and be proud of. You know, so I won't say I have a T-shirt business, I have a consulting business, but I have a product, that's these T-shirts. Like the one I'm wearing is Bigger Dreams, Less Worries. So like how I said earlier about applying 3 times for pharmacy school and getting 2 no's before I got that 1 yes. All you need is 1 yes, you know what I'm saying, in your life to change your whole life. And that's that bigger dream. You know what I'm saying? I sit there and had times where I felt like, what am I doing here? Why things isn't working out? But I knew what the bigger dream was. And I had to get rid of those worries. Like, you know what? Just keep pushing. If it's for you, you're going to find that way. So never make your dreams smaller because your situation isn't the best or ideal. Make your dreams bigger to get out of that situation. So that's what this shirt symbolizes, like, you know what, keep dreaming bigger. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, don't dream bigger. Wake up and go get your dream as well. Because that's a real great feeling when you can sit down and have a moment and tell you, and you looking around you like the things that I dreamed of, the things that I aimed for, I'm actually achieving those. I actually have obtained that. So that's empowering in itself. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, it makes you dream bigger. It makes you go out and do more. And the more that you do, the more that you can help others. So at the end of the day, once you start achieving your dreams, you start reaching out, you start helping and pulling others in, and they're achieving their dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what that made me think about, just you saying all that, especially in the beginning. And, you know, I'm a person, I love, like, you know, symbols and things of that nature. It made me think about a hot air balloon. You know what I mean? Because when you think about a hot air balloon, as long as you keep that fire in you, eventually that balloon, which is going to be bigger than the little basket that you're in, you know what I mean? It's a little basket, but it holds a lot of weight. But as long as you keep that fire going, that hot air balloon is going to continue to expand, and it's going to lift you up out of the situation that you're in, or maybe the situation scenario that you may not feel comfortable in, you don't like. So that's definitely great there. You know what I mean? Just to have that vision at a young age, and also implementing all strategies that you are right now to actually continue on. You know what I mean? There's no stopping you. I would also like to talk about, you know what I'm saying, or excuse me, you will be talking about this shirt that I have on right now, talking about empowered leaders. What's that all about?
Yeah, empowered leaders. Mm-hmm. So I was sitting there thinking of how I can help my technicians where I work at. Mm-hmm. Because I'm in a leadership role as the pharmacy manager. It's like, I realized they wouldn't do anything until like they come and ask me, and I just had to give them that empowerment of like, listen, you don't have to ask me for every step. Let me just go ahead and let you know that you are empowered. Let me give you this knowledge base. Let me teach you everything that I know that you can do in your level, so that when something happens, you can automatically step in and fix those issues. You can automatically step in and resolve those things. And when I started empowering them, they became more independent and they became better at their jobs. And also, when you go out there in the community, you might see like a young kid struggling with something, and the only thing they need is a cheerleader behind them, someone to come behind them and be like, yo, man, I see you doing good work. Let me empower you to do better. You know, like I just had a conversation about sports, and somebody was talking to me like, yo, how do you feel like when the coach is like congratulating you on doing something? They were like, yeah, I feel like energized. I feel like I want to go out there on the field and do something better. I want to go out there and get more touchdowns. Like that leader just empowered you. So now you want to go out there and you want to push and do better, and you want to get better. You know what I'm saying? And also, right now in the Black community, I feel like definitely on social media, everyone is trying to sell everything and do anything, but they're not giving away information to empower too many people.
There you go.
So I would want to be the one that we have these conversations, or I release my videos and people listen to it and become empowered and go out and achieve something, go out and do something positive, not just, you know, take all the flashy photos and think that's what life is and social media is, but it's to impact someone's life. You know what I'm saying? It's to really influence someone in a better way.
Now, I don't want to take all your secrets and everything like that, but I mean, what do you have planned, you know, saying for your business? You know what I mean? For your empowerment and leadership roles, like in the future, what do you have planned?
Man, that's a great question. Nah. So in the future, I'm working on my network out here in the DMV area to link up with people that's doing like housings and doing things in the stock market and the real estate trading, and work on getting this knowledge, putting it in bite size, and start giving it out to people via social media, via any type of platform that we have, to empower them, to make them dream bigger, to make them financially stronger. And that's where like the impact will be. That's where the business is leading to, is like linking up with others with the same like mind, and then sharing information and finding a way to disperse it to the masses and just get them rejuvenated, get them moving forward. Because like the things that I'm learning now, we had no access to. So now that we do, let's turn around and grab the ones behind us and pull them forward.
And that's definitely something we need. Definitely in the African American community, but also in society as well. A lot of us, we tend to kind of just like, leave everybody behind. And I feel like that's not what it's all about. You know what I mean? No. It's, to me personally, I feel like there's a difference between being a leader and a boss. Personally, a leader and a king are the same thing. A boss is something totally different. A boss is somebody who more just wants it their way. They feel like this is how it's supposed to be, and this is how it's going to go. A leader / king, they understand that I do have people that depend on me, and that's fine. But I also want to show these people how they can move and become a leader or a king just as much. So,
and they're like, when you said that, it made me think of something like a boss is someone that's going to sit back and just dictate and tell people what to do. A leader is going to put his boots on, he's going to scrap up, he's going to stand in front of the team and say, listen, follow me. I'm going to lead the way. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you how to get to it. And that's one thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to show people, like, I'm doing this with you. Or I've done this previously. So it can be done.
Yeah. And that's something that, a lot of people, I feel like, definitely need to display. I know sometimes, we may not want to see the dirty work. People just love to be, it's more like an entertainment value, almost people could like to soak it in when they see the jewelry, the money, the clothes, the cars, and all the fancy stuff. That's cool, but a lot of people work to get to where they're trying to go. You know what I mean? They had to work to get there to that certain point. And particularly sometimes those people don't, give words to those who are trying to do that as well. You know what I mean? So it's good that you're in a position where, hey, I've gotten this far. Here's the map. I do not mind you using this map. You know what I mean? Because this map that I've created is for you. Yeah. And I want you to become a leader and lead the way as well. Because we do have a lot of people who are educated and have a better understanding of there's different ways of, being successful. Because it's not all about money. It's just being successful, whatever makes you happy. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays, people think all it is, especially as African-American men, we feel like, basketball, football, sports, that's the only way. You know what I mean? Or selling drugs. That's the only way. But there's so many ways that you can be successful, and you're showing that. You know what I mean? Because it's not a lot of people can be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know a doctor, I know a pharmacist, especially in the hood. Not a lot of people.
It's so funny. I got a friend, he'd be like, yo, you the first black doctor I know. And it's like, oh man, that's crazy. Like, we think we've come so far, but we're really starting to finally take those steps forward. You know what I'm saying? Just showing people the way. Like growing up, I think we thought sports was probably the only way out, coming from a small town of Georgetown. But, it was like academic. Like some people got to actually find their niche or their thing that's make them great. Like, and I knew mine was academics. I was like, yo, school came easy to me. Like I didn't have to do too much to get to that B. So I was like, you know what? This is going to be my way out.
Yeah, yeah, and thankfully you took advantage of it. You know what I
That's
mean?
it.
You took advantage of it and you use it for your success, which is a great thing. A lot of people they don't do that. Once they receive that education, sometimes it's just more like, well, I'm done with school, I'm done. Not necessarily saying that because you graduate high school, you can't, but you don't go to college, you can't be successful. It's just a simple fact that you saw the opportunity and you ran with it. You know what I mean? You took that opportunity, and a lot of people don't truly see opportunity, even if it's right there in their face. Sometimes they look at it and they're just afraid. You know what I mean? They're just afraid. And I mean that kind of brings up another question. Like, although you saw that opportunity and you took it, were you ever fearful of it before you even took it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes the biggest fear is achieving your goals. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? Because sometimes you're like, yo, some people question is what they're dreaming, is it worth them to achieve it? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You gotta just be like, if you thought it, you can achieve it. That's the vision that you see yourself going for. So
Mm.
if you thought about something great that you can do or something impactful that you can put out into the world, God gave you that vision for a reason. So it's up to you to push to make sure that you get there.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. That's facts. All right, my man. Well, we about to wrap it up. I know you a busy, busy guy. You know what I'm saying? So we about to be out. But before, what I'm saying, we shut everything down. Let them know your Instagram so they can follow you, so they can understand where to get these t-shirts and also gain inspiration from.
All right, thank you, thank you. You can find me on IG at Dr. Bartu, DrBartou. Also, I have the link in there. You can click the link, take you to my Amazon page where you can order your shirts. And if you got Amazon Prime, it'll be there in 2 days. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? Please come out, support Black-owned businesses. I will be coming out with my own website soon to make it a little more simpler. But at the moment, follow me on Instagram at Dr. Bartu.
All right, my man. Well, you know what it is. This is Third Perspective. My name is Mac Reed, host Bar2 Wilson, Dr. Bar2 Wilson, and we are out. Take care, be easy, much love.
All right.
And